It is incredibly rare for me to meet phenomenal people. And when I do, I love to share them with my world. So having said that, meet my friend Ian Knight. Ian, you have provided me with, I would say, thousands of dollars worth of behavioral health, mental health support. Why are you so amazing at this?
Ooh, well, wow. With that introduction, I'm going to need a little bit more time to resolve. No, I think for me, I learned very quickly at a young age that I was able to interpret difficult information and repackage it in a way that others could understand. So because of that innate ability, and even with some of the trainings and the things that I've had over my experiences over the years, it's still something that amazes me every time it happens. You know, from my military background to my corporate background, dealing with escalation management, to working in education right now where I'm dealing with people making life-changing decisions and uncertain of where they want to go. It's just a plethora of information that's out there, but it boils down to your willingness to pay attention to what the person is really saying to you. And that's where all of that comes into play.
Right. Well, on that note, I'm humbled to say that I'm amazing at selling houses, but there are some things that I am not really great at. And that's why I have you here today, because I want to connect you to people in my world who have struggled with achieving their real estate goals. There are a variety of different behavioral related issues that have them stalled. And one of the things I want to cover with you today is the issue of vulnerability. I know that I need to buy a house. This is my goal. But I am choosing to put it on hold because it's a huge thing. I don't understand it. I'm afraid to ask why. I'm afraid to show my cards. What do you say to those type of people, especially young people in my circle who have experienced that?
Well, I think it starts out with you don't really know what questions to ask. And so you're not vulnerable enough to say, you know, I really don't know. And what most people don't understand, there's no harm in not knowing. You know, you don't have to remember every single thing. The way I would categorize that is having knowledge, intelligence, and experience just makes you a library. But wisdom is the application of all three. And a lot of the young folks don't have the wisdom to apply those or even talk to the ones who specializes in these areas that can help them. So if they're running into trust issues where they can't even trust themselves, why would they trust their agent? If they're thinking, oh, if I'm talking to this agent, they're just going to get over on me, I'm going to be taken advantage of. Well, that will be a behavior that you may have exhibited based on some footprints that happened to you at a younger age. But since you're not open enough to share those things with the realtor, you rather keep them together and hope that you can give them enough information that will help you to achieve a goal that wasn't even clearly defined. The realtor's asking you questions like when you go into a doctor's office. Where hurts? What's going on with you? Based on how you present that information will help the doctor properly diagnose you. And the problem is they're not allowing realtors to properly diagnose them for the information that they're providing to realtors.
That's a smart observation. Now, how does one, and you touched on a very important topic, you touched on the idea that behavior stems to youthful events that might have happened. How does a person get around that?
Well, it's not around, you have to go through.
Oh, true.
Right? Because when you go around something means you're avoiding it. It's like the elephant in the room, and you won't address it, so it will never go away until you address it. So if you're feeling a certain kind of way, if you're getting anxious, usually anxiety is an indication that you're worried about an unfavorable outcome. Right? But anxiety is not to be confused with expectation, because expectation is a feeling or emotion you get when you know the outcome is going to be favorable. So when you have someone who has these feelings, they have to go back. There's a rule that we go by, the rule of first mention. So you have to go back to the very first time you felt that. How old were you? What was the situation? Who was there? Because oftentimes these decisions we're making now, we're making with a childlike mind rather than the actual mind of where we are right now. So to address it, you have to first identify it. Otherwise, it's a Band-Aid on a cardiac wound.
There you go. I feel that. Let's transition a little bit into another issue I see.
Sure.
And that is community. I have met lots of people with real estate goals, and those people are still where they're at. Why? Because they are complacent with community. They are complacent with their home, even though it might be too big or too small. How does one address a familiarity as a comfort zone when in fact it's really not? They should potentially be in a different place.
That's so interesting. In the animal kingdom, all animals are expected, the young are expected to go off and find and do their own and move and transition and migrate. Why do we suffer from that as adults?
Good question.
We know that when you get older, there's some changes and transition, but you getting comfortable in a particular position can cause you to miss out on food in another area that you need to go to migrate to. So why do animals, innately do these things, but as people, we struggle with those things. When you're in the military, you're moving all over the place, no exceptions. But it creates a skill set to understand how to quickly adapt into new areas rather than staying stagnant in an area that's not growing.
Right.
That doesn't make sense. If I looked at you 10 years ago and you look the same exact way, I'm going to start wondering, what in the world is going on? There's no changes in 10 years? No growth? Anything that doesn't move is dead.
So what do you say to the mother who is an empty nester, who is holding on to her 4-bedroom home all by herself, when in actuality she could benefit from a smaller place, maybe someplace closer to her family?
She doesn't know. She's holding on to her memories as if her memories are going to be lost. Doing a job as a parent. I'm an empty nester, 4 kids, all grown, 5 grandkids. And I love being home.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a decent home, but I'm not concerned about the size at the moment because I'm in a perfect place. But it's not so much community per se, it's what makes sense. If life has you in a position where at any given moment you can lose the very memories you have because now you don't have what it takes to maintain that lifestyle, then you need to make some changes. And if you don't think along those lines, then life will make the decision for you.
There it is.
And then now you become reactionary, desperate even, to make a decision that was already innate that you should have made in the beginning. You knew this home was going to raise your children, and you knew this home, somewhere along the line, they were going to start their lives, and you're going to be there by yourself. You know it was coming. Why did you not plan for it?
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me. So what it's telling me is you would rather have your emotions over the better quality of life. In my end days, I want to make sure my quality of life is on point. And as parents, we have to remind ourselves, we've done our job when our kids leave home and they're doing for themselves. It doesn't mean that because they are gone now, I'm no longer valuable. Is that what it really is? It's more of a soul searching. You have to ask yourself, why are you feeling like this? Why do you think you're obligated to hold on to this property? For what? What is it doing? What is the benefit? What does the data say to support you being there? Because if the data doesn't support it, then you're going against logical thinking. And emotional thinking should never be the forefront. You bring your emotions with you like a passenger in your car, but you better drive with logic. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in positions you don't want to be in.
There you go. There you go. All right. One more thing.
Sure thing.
The last hurdle I experience sometimes is I want to sell my home. I need to sell my home, but it is a mess. I cannot let you in.
Okay. So then the question becomes, what's more important? Is it really a need? Because if it's a need, then you would do everything you need to do to make it happen. So what I don't understand is it's kind of like someone playing the slot machine. You're losing, you're losing, you're losing. But the slot machine make you think there's a possibility you could win. So now you're emptying your bank account. It's gonna hit, it's gonna hit. Not realizing that you are emptying your nest egg over something that may not ever hit at all. So you're caught up in that. In this particular situation, This is more of a shame situation.
Yeah.
They're embarrassed. Shame brings embarrassment. My question is, who in their life doesn't have something that they wouldn't want anybody else to know? Let's go to the video. What if you went to your life and unpacked that and other people could see your thoughts on how you, we wouldn't want that out there.
Right.
But then why would you allow this where there's something tangible that's damaging you? Mm-hmm. So people might look at me funny. Okay, great, but guess what? I'm in a better place now.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing with eating disorders, emotionally driven behavior. That's all it really is. Mm-hmm. It's an emotionally driven behavior. Mm-hmm. For those who have things they don't want you to see, it's because they're maybe a person who don't want to get rid of anything. So their house, oh, we need this, oh, we need that. Before you know it, no room in the garage. Then all of a sudden it's in the house. Yeah. And one of my things that I've always done whenever someone's buying something in the house, first question I ask is, where are you going to put it?
You sound like my husband.
Yeah, where are you going to put it? Because if there's not a spot to put it, I don't care how nice it looks. We can come back in the store and visit, okay? But don't bring this in the house. There's well, we can remove this. Okay, when you remove that, where are you going to put that? Because there's always a transference of things. And we have to train ourselves and be vulnerable enough to know that when a realtor or someone is talking to us about situations like this, it's coming from a place of love.
I love it.
Not from, hey, I just need to get over it. I need to get this house sold. No. We care so much about people that people don't realize it's coming from a good place.
There you go.
And that is what I would say.
Amazing. Ian, thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being my brother. And thank you for allowing me to connect you to my world, because the information you provided is invaluable. So thank you so much.
You make that possible. She brings a lot out of me. She won't tell you that, but she brings a lot out of me. She's a phenomenal person in her own right. And I'm grateful to say that my life is actually better because you're in it.
Thank you.
So,
and likewise.
Much appreciated.
Thank you so much for watching this video. For more information, please subscribe to this channel and stay in touch with me. And as always, I'm Darlene Perry, your San Francisco Bay Area Real Estate Connector. I'll see you next time.